This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Works now when the gates of earth won't let you out. This is where you fall down. You weren't ready when heaven rained down in a storm cloud. Oh, don't let your feelings out. Every word you speak on the back page, dripping in a joke in a seascape. In your love shell, you weren't ready to meet the angels. When you fall, then it don't. When you care, then it won't. You weren't ready when heaven rained down. When you fall, should've cared. When you say
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, let's talk about it, because it's definitely true. It has not mattered who the host is on this show for quite some time. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out on this lovely Friday, June the 19th of 2026. Yep, that's what we're doing. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, that's how we do stuff around here. Radio and sarcasm is the combination of stuff on how we do our thing around here. So let's start talking right away about what we do on this show, because I think that that's important. It's always a good grounding part. This way, if you have expectations, they get shot down right away. So let's talk about this. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of how it goes. But here's what happens. On Friday, we call it Freeform Friday. So what does this mean? We don't have a level of a main story towards the middle of the show. What we end up doing is playing catch-up with, not playing with catch-up, but playing catch-up for everything that we didn't get to earlier in the week. So what happens is we get a whole bunch of news stories in. And as those news stories, we get into them on the air, we don't get to them all. So I have this pile of stuff that we still need to cover on Fridays. It's kind of how it goes. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at a couple of different things here, because that's just going to be the easiest way to do this. So as I'm going to go through this morning and kind of go through everything that I got, what I'm going to do as well is give you all of the information that we can. Because there's sometimes some stuff that happens that we don't get to talk about until we get into our segment that we call the Week in Review. Just a little FYI, that we don't cover until we get to there. And then once we get there, we kind of cover it and give you everything that's happened. Outside of that as well, if you want to interact with the show, it's easy to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options. So you'll get to take a look around, see exactly what's happening, all that kind of fun stuff. Video, audio, and text messaging. Video, audio, and text messaging are the options. I get a prompt on the screen over there in the corner, and then we move. So why don't we go ahead and do this? Why don't we go ahead and do the weekend review right now? This way we get to take a little gander on everything that's going on. So take a listen to this.
The scare in the heart of New York with gunshots in Times Square, huge crowds running for cover. And it comes after an estimated 2 million people gathered in the city today to celebrate the New York Knicks.
Officials are saying a large fight broke out, and officers then observed a person of interest firing a weapon. That suspect arrested. One person, they say, was slashed. Officers did say they recovered a gun.
This is a complete reversal from Luigi Mangioni's defense team. It was just 24 hours ago that his lawyers revealed they were planning to use a psychiatric defense in his upcoming trial, claiming that during that time, Mangione was suffering an extreme emotional disturbance and was not in control of himself when prosecutors say he gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Well, today they have just done a total U-turn. It comes as his attorneys face a deadline today to turn over records of Mangione's psychiatric history to prosecutors, but they are not revealing why they are changing this defense.
24 hours after signing the peace deal, President Trump under fire from top Republicans on Capitol Hill, who called the deal a win for Iran.
Iran's left stronger. We are left weaker.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
Scenes of destruction across much of the U.S. In the Midwest, a batch of tornadoes touched down, part of a line of storms there, shredding buildings and toppling trees.
10 years and $850 million in the making. On a brilliant sunny day, the south side of Chicago officially welcomed the Obama Presidential Center.
The Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions once again. The Hurricanes beat the Golden Knights 3-0 last night in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.
Pizza Hut is being sold for $2.7 billion. Not to be outdone, Papa John's will settle for whatever you have on you. $32? Yeah, we got a deal.
Okay, so there you go. There's the weekend review of the things you might have missed. That way you get to take a little listen real quick on what the hell's going on. No doubt about that. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this right now? Let's go ahead and get our friends in from Feature Story News, because I think that they're ready to go to tell you what exactly is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what they do.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is not traveling to Switzerland today as planned. Iran and the U.S. were slated to begin talks to discuss implementing the 14-point peace plan today. Iranian media saying Tehran wants to see signs of implementation of the interim agreement before more talks are held. The peace plan has now triggered a 60-day window to negotiate a final agreement to be endorsed by the UN. Under the terms, Washington would immediately waive oil sanctions on Iran, a concession that goes further than the 2015 nuclear deal. Nick Harper has more from Washington.
In terms of what else is laid out in this deal, we know that now the US and Iran are pledging mutual respect for sovereignty, so they are saying they will no longer attack one another. There will be a joint mechanism to make sure that what's been agreed in this text is actually implemented. And amongst that, the US military will be remaining in place, really as leverage to make sure that the Iranians are on side during the next 60 days. Also, the US is permitting Iranian oil exports under certain waivers. And some of those Iranian frozen funds and assets, they will be partially unfrozen.
Kate Fisher is in Washington, and she's talking about how President Trump took to Truth Social to defend the deal, pointing to falling oil prices. But the new Federal Reserve chairman has warned inflation caused by the war is preventing interest rate cuts.
Oil prices are tumbling and, the economy is going to be soaring again. Wall Street is doing really well. But if you split screen that with what we heard yesterday from the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Walsh, appointed by Donald Trump, and he suggested that his main focus was trying to bring inflation down, and the fact he couldn't lower interest rates, what's something that Donald Trump has been wanting for a long time, is because of the inflationary situation, which of course has been caused by this war in Iran.
Japanese and South Korean stocks climbed to record highs on Friday. Meanwhile, oil prices have edged lower as optimism over a US-Iran interim peace agreement continues and the gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz has eased concerns over disruptions to global crude oil supplies. Laura Westbrook has more from Hong Kong.
South Korea's Kospi extended its record run, while Japan's Nikkei 225 also opened higher. Markets in the US, mainland China, Hong Kong and Taiwan are shut for holidays. Brent crude was around $79 a barrel as market sentiment continued to improve since Washington and Tehran signed an interim accord aimed at ending hostilities and restoring commercial navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. US Vice President J.D. Vance says the 60-day clock for working out the details in the Memorandum of Understanding had started ticking, but experts say that investors will remain cautious until they see an airtight deal and traffic genuinely flowing in full through the Strait of Hormuz, with concerns remaining that Iran was unlikely to relinquish control over the strait. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group has issued its first statement in 19 years, both at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Will Denslow has more from Brussels.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defense ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed. Also calls for more support to defend Ukraine's skies.
New York officials have said an estimated 2 million people attended the Knicks parade when the city turned into a sea of bright orange and blue. The city's basketball team won its first national championship in more than 5 decades last weekend. The city's mayor, Zoran Mamdani, delivered this speech at the event.
Over these past weeks, as the Knicks kept winning, our city has come together as one. For 53 years we waited. Now we've won.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. The main news again. US Vice President J.D. Vance is not traveling to Switzerland as planned. Iran and the US were slated to begin talks to discuss implementing the 14-point peace plan. Iranian media is saying that Tehran wants to see signs of implementation of the interim agreement before more talks are held. Meanwhile, oil prices have edged lower as optimism over a US-Iran interim peace agreement and the gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz have eased supply concerns. And that is the latest. Feature Story News, Neha Punya reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Friday. Yeah, it's Freeform Friday, so let's not forget that. Because some people go, well, hold on, there wasn't a main story.
There wasn't a main story. Why isn't there a main story? I need to know. Why isn't there a main story?
It's okay. It's Freeform Friday. We just talk about everything that's going on. So let's get into it right away, talking about some of the stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse. Yesterday, Yesterday on GMA, former President Barack Obama talked about the opening of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. The grand opening was yesterday as well. Take a listen to what was said.
Anchored in the south side of Chicago, the Obamas say the Presidential Center serves as a reminder of what's possible.
I mean, for me growing up here, none of this was available to me as a child. To think that there are going to be kids like me where this is their backyard, where people feel like they can just cross the street and gain access to the world. It's unbelievable.
Hi, how's everybody doing? This is your park, so you can play here anytime.
So there you go. That's what was going on. So there you go. There's that one. So what do you think? I mean, it's definitely different in regards of seeing some of this stuff in regards to what's happening. So we'll see how that actually ends up going as we are talking. So Obama's Presidential Center is open now in Chicago. We have to take a look. No doubt about that. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world because you definitely want to take a listen to this one. An independent contractor for a Mississippi real estate company has been fired after confronting an Oklahoma father who took his two young daughters into the empty women's restroom at an Alabama Quick Trip. Tyler Brodsky said that he chose the women's restroom because he didn't think that the men's room was safe place for his daughters. After announcing himself and finding the restroom empty, he was confronted by an angry bystander, leaving one of his daughters in tears. Police responded but told Brodsky that he had done nothing wrong. The viral incident sparked a nationwide debate over parents using opposite-sex restroom with young children. The contractor employer says that his behavior did not reflect the company's values. Here's the audio of the man calling 911, reporting the incident. Also, the clip Tyler talks about the incident with Inside Edition.
There is a man with his two little girls using the women's bathroom.
This dad is in the ladies' room because his two little girls just had to go. And the guy in the doorway is really upset.
He's refusing. He's taking his sweet time.
I have two girls washing their hands.
You don't have any business bringing them into the women's bathroom.
They're girls. They go to the women's bathroom.
I imagine you checked the restroom before you went in to make sure nobody else was in there, right?
Yeah. It is uncomfortable going into a woman's bathroom as a man. I always check.
So what do you think here? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag in regards of so did he do the right thing? Did he do the wrong thing? Did he go in right because there was nobody inside of there? Was that okay or no? I mean, I will tell you, there's this mall that I go to that's here in Orlando, and this mall has what we'll call gender neutral bathrooms. But let me explain what I'm going to say here. So in other words, it says it's a bathroom. It's only for one person at a time. And you should see, it's only in one section of the mall, by the way, on how long the lines get, because they're not multiple, I guess we'll say multiple use bathrooms at the same time. So there's only one person going in at a time. So the line gets outrageous. Now, the funny part is that where I'm actually located at, this little bathroom section, I think there's like 4 or 5 of them, is right next to the kids' little play section inside of the mall. So it gets backed up pretty seriously. So is that the right approach that these places should be taking? I mean, I don't know. Should he have let the kids go in by themselves? I don't know. Because it's going to really depend a lot on the age. Like the gym that I go to, or let me rephrase that, one of the gyms that I go to says that if your kid is 6 years of age or older, they cannot be going into the opposite gender's bathroom with the parent. I mean, probably they meant that they can go into the opposite gender bathroom, period, but still. Some interesting times. What do you think? So was it the right thing, the wrong thing, somewhere in between? I don't know. The question will be part of the answer that you might need to give, because I definitely do not know what is the right criteria here. I mean, but kind of an also an oddity there that you have some guy recording you, kind of screaming, kind of upset about everything that's going on. I don't get it, but hey, it's one of those things that people do what they believe is right at the time. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do real quick. Teen slashed by a bear, reached through his window and clawed his face before mom managed to scare it off. Take a listen to this one because it gets interesting. A California family got a terrifying wake-up call when a bear reached through the bedroom window and attacked a sleeping teenager. 19-year-old Kevin Wood, who is nonverbal and autistic, suffered a deep cut to his face and scratches to his stomach after a bear clawed him inside of his bedroom at a family's home in Crestline, near the San Bernardino National Forest. His mother said that she heard a commotion before Kevin walked out of his room covered in blood. Since he couldn't explain what happened, she pierced it. She pierced it together, or I guess it's supposed to say that she pieced it together, after spotting a large black bear outside of the house. She scared it off by banging a pot with a spoon before rushing her son to the hospital, where he was treated for his injuries. Neighbors say that the bear sightings have become increasingly common, and the animals seem to be much bolder this year. Surveillance and doorbell cameras have captured several bears wandering through the nearby neighborhoods, knocking over gates and searching for food. California wildlife officials are now collecting DNA evidence from the scene and Kevin's injuries in hopes of identifying the bears responsible. Really? The bears that are responsible? They were saying that they may try to capture the animal once the test results come back, and they're reminding residents to remove food sources like garbage and bird feeders to avoid attracting bears. Well, hold on. The kid was sleeping, wasn't he? Wasn't this the reference piece that the kid was attacked through the window? It wasn't like, hey, I'm out here with a bird feed. Just something to think about for a moment. I mean, come on. Think about that for a minute. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this one because it's going to get interesting. For the first time in 11 years, Chick-fil-A is no longer America's highest rated food chain for customer satisfaction. According to American Customer Satisfaction Index, you ready for this? Jersey Mike's has claimed the top spot with a score of 84 out of 100, edging out Chick-fil-A by a single point. Customer gave Jersey Mike high marks for its fresh ingredients, menu variety, and overall value. Chick-fil-A remains the top-rated chicken chain ahead of KFC, Raising Cane's, Wingstop, and Popeyes. But Jersey Mike's is now more than 3,200 U.S. locations and expanding internationally after being acquired by Blackstone in 2025. So let me give it to you from the top to the bottom to the bottom to the top. So at number 10, 9, and 8, this is how it goes, but they're all 79. So it goes like this: Starbucks, Raising Cane's, and Domino's. At number 7 is Pizza Hut. At number 6 is Papa John's. At number 5 is KFC. They all have 80, by the way. At number 4 is Panda Express with 81. Jimmy John's with 81. At number 3. And number 2 is Chick-fil-A, as already talked about, and that's 83. And at 84 is Jersey Mike's. So does this mean you'll start going to Jersey Mike's now because you want to see the customer satisfaction rating? I'm just asking. So there you go. Anyways, earlier we were talking about the Obama Presidential Center that opened in Chicago, but take a listen to this. The $850 million Obama Presidential Center officially opened yesterday in Chicago with a star-studded ceremony featuring performances by Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, John Legend, Christina Aguilera, The Roots, Eddie Vedder, Bono, and more. Barack and Michelle Obama both delivered speeches focused on hope, community, and civic engagement, while every living president and first lady attend except President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania. The 19 acres, more than a decade in the making, opens to the public Friday. It includes a museum, library branch, basketball court, gardens, playground, and community spaces. Organizers expect up to 1 million visitors a year. So there you go. Some things to talk about as we are moving. Okay, and some other news. Let's start talking. Panic broke out at the New York City Times Square yesterday afternoon when a dispute escalated into a gunfire, sending crowds of tourists and commuters scrambling all over. Witnesses reported hearing about 5 shots as at least one suspect opened fire near West 44th Street and 7th Avenue. No one was hit, although the parked car was struck by a bullet. Police quickly recovered the firearm and took the suspect into custody with charges pending. The shooting happened just hours after the Knicks championship ticker tape parade wrapped up. Follows another shooting in Times Square during team's titles celebration last week. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. What do you think about this? I'm just asking. Like, you just busted out with a gun in the middle of everything and decided to shoot the place up because of what? I mean, I just want to have a better understanding. So there you go. Okay, what else is going on? A powerful round of severe weather spawned at least 7 tornadoes across the Midwest and the Southeast, leaving a trail of destruction in multiple states. 2 of the strongest tornadoes struck northeast Iowa and central Illinois, where the National Weather Service issued a rare, particularly dangerous situation, warning for the threat of violent twisters. Homes, businesses, and trees and power lines were heavily damaged, especially in Charleston, Illinois, where residents described their homes shaking as the storms tore through. Emergency crews continued assessing the damage as communities begin the cleanup. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there for sure. Also in some other news, Vice President J.D. Vance says reports that the U.S.-Iran peace agreement hands billions with a B dollars to Iran are misleading. While the deal includes a provision for at least $300 billion in reconstruction and economic development. Vance stressed the United States won't pay a single penny directly. He said the economic benefits would come from regional partners and only if Iran fully complies with the agreement and changes its behavior. The agreement also calls for the U.S. sanctions and giving Iran access to frozen funds. Vance argued that easing sanctions will actually give U.S. better visibility into Iran's financial system and that all sanctions relief is conditional on Iran honoring the deal. Yes, the deal, the art of the deal. The Trump administration plans to brief Congress soon, but believes that it has authority to temporarily lift sanctions without congressional approval. Still, the agreement is already facing criticism from both Republicans and Democrats. Senator Ted Cruz questioned whether Iran could end up receiving $300 billion, while former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley called the reconstruction provision a huge mistake. So what do you think? I'm just asking. It gets very interesting as we are talking. So there you go. Take a listen to this one real quick. A 3-year-old boy is in critical but stable conditions after police say a 30-year-old man threw him into the crocodile enclosure at Johnson of Old Host in England. Authorities arrested the suspect on suspicion of attempted murder and say that there is no indication the man knew the child. The incident sparked a major emergency response, but officials say that the crocodile barrier were intact and they're treating the case as a criminal investigation. The zoo's tropical house has been closed while the police continue to investigate that led to the shocking attack. A 30-year-old man threw him into a crocodile enclosure. Authorities arrested the suspect but say that they believe that there was no indication that the guy knew the child. Like, what the hell? I mean, not that there's any justification if he knew the child, But think about that for a moment. You just randomly threw some rando kid. I mean, somebody has to explain that one to me. I'm just wondering because it got weird. That got weird there. Let's talk about this one, even though I don't love talking about sports on here, but let's do it anyways. The opening round of the U.S. Open was thrown into chaos yesterday after heavy fog forced officials to suspend play for just about 30 minutes after the tournament began in Shinnecock Hills in New York. Only 18 golfers had teed off before the play was halted, creating a major scheduling headache for about 156-player field. After about a 2-hour delay, resumed at 9:05 or 5 minutes after 9. Organizers were also bracing for strong winds and possible storms later in the day, adding even more uncertainty to the golf third major of the year. I mean, that's what happens when you do these things outside. It's not like there's a lot of golfing courses that you can do inside, that's for sure.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. If you're here in the U.S., Father's Day is occurring this weekend, so I'm going to help you out real quick if you don't mind. 7 Brews on June the 21st. Brew customers can celebrate Dad with a free 7 Brewski and thank you card for purchasing 2 medium or large drink while the supplies last. At Arby's, the Father's Day, Arby's has a $1.99 slider, including roast beef, buffalo chicken, crispy chicken, and ham options. If you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, Pick 6 is $19.99. Buffalo Wild Wings, you can select 2 entrees from 10 boneless wings, 3 crispy chicken dippers, 3 spicy chicken dippers, or an all-American cheeseburger with 2 sides and 2 fountain drinks. Offers valid at dine-in, takeout, or delivery. Chipotle from the 15th through the 21st, which I guess today's the 19th, so that makes it a little bit difficult. Rewards members can get free regular side or a topping of cilantro lime sauce with an entree purchase online, in-app, or in the restaurant. If you're not already a rewards member, you can enroll before June 20th and receive the offer and be on the reward wallet. There's quite a few of these. Do we want to go through them all would be the question. Let's kind of go through some of the popular places. Jimmy John's 18th through the 21st. JJ Rewards members get buy one, get one free on toasted sandwiches at Jimmy John's when they order online or in the app or enter promo code favorite child or fave child at checkout. So there you go. Krispy Kreme gets a seasonal summer donut with Krispy Kreme purchase. You can select a key lime pie donut, lemon bar donut, a cannoli inspired donut, or original glazed strawberry donut. There you go. Let's see. Subway has their sub club members get buy one get one 50% off footlong for Father's Day weekend. So there you go. And then if you're out there in Canada, Tim Hortons is offering buy one get one free donuts deal with rewards Father's Day. Once of the one per account, reward members can receive also 2 times the points. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out with some Father's Day stuff if you're so inclined to do so. There you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, it is Freeform Friday, so you get some dosage of the news. No doubt about that. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature story news in New Delhi. I'm Neha Punia. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is not traveling to Switzerland today as planned. Iran and the U.S. were slated to begin talks to discuss implementing the 14-point peace plan today. Iranian media saying Tehran wants to see signs of implementation of the interim agreement before more talks are held. The peace plan has now triggered a 60-day window to negotiate a final agreement to be endorsed by the UN. Under the terms, Washington would immediately waive oil sanctions on Iran, a concession that goes further than the 2015 nuclear deal. Nick Harper has more from Washington.
In terms of what else is laid out in this deal, we know that now the US and Iran are pledging mutual respect for sovereignty, so they are saying they will no longer attack one another. There will be a joint mechanism to make sure that what's been agreed in this text is actually implemented. And amongst that, the US military will be remaining in place, really as leverage to make sure that the Iranians are on side during the next 60 days. Also, the US is permitting Iranian oil exports under certain waivers. And some of those Iranian frozen funds and assets, they will be partially unfrozen.
Kate Fisher is in Washington, and she's talking about how President Trump took to Truth Social to defend the deal, pointing to falling oil prices. But the new Federal Reserve chairman has warned inflation caused by the war is preventing interest rate cuts.
Oil prices are tumbling and, you know, the economy is going to be soaring again. Wall Street is doing really well. But if you split screen that with what we heard yesterday from the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Walsh, appointed by Donald Trump, and he suggested that his main focus was trying to bring inflation down, and the fact he couldn't lower interest rates, what's something that Donald Trump has been wanting for a long time, is because of the inflationary situation, which of course has been caused by this war in Iran.
Japanese and South Korean stocks climbed to record highs on Friday. Meanwhile, oil prices have edged lower as optimism over a US-Iran interim peace agreement continues, and the gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz has eased concerns over disruptions to global crude oil supplies. Laura Westbrook has more from Hong Kong.
South Korea's Kospi extended its record run, while Japan's Nikkei 225 also opened higher. Markets in the US, mainland China, Hong Kong and Taiwan are shut for holidays. Brent crude was around $79 a barrel as market sentiment continued to improve since Washington and Tehran signed an interim accord aimed at ending hostilities and restoring commercial navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. US Vice President J.D. Vance says the 60-day clock for working out the details in the Memorandum of Understanding had started ticking, but experts say that investors will remain cautious until they see an airtight deal and traffic genuinely flowing in full through the Strait of Hormuz, with concerns remaining that Iran was unlikely to relinquish control over the strait. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group has issued its first statement in 19 years, both at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Will Denslow has more from Brussels.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defense ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed. Also calls for more support to defend Ukraine's skies.
New York officials have said an estimated 2 million people attended the Knicks parade when the city turned into a sea of bright orange and blue. The city's basketball team won its first national championship in more than 5 decades last weekend. The city's mayor, Zoran Mamdani, delivered this speech at the event.
Over these past weeks, as the Knicks kept winning, our city has come together as one. For 53 years we waited. Now we've won.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. The main news again. US Vice President J.D. Vance is not traveling to Switzerland as planned. Iran and the US were slated to begin talks to discuss implementing the 14-point peace plan. Iranian media is saying that Tehran wants to see signs of implementation of the interim agreement before more talks are held. Meanwhile, oil prices have edged lower as optimism over a US-Iran interim peace agreement and the gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz have eased supply concerns. And that is the latest. Feature Story News, Neha Punya reporting.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service
Anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
They're good. They're very funny.
They're hilarious. They just be whoever they want to be.
It's just really funny.
Rated R Safety Show.
Don't let your feelings out. Every word you speak on the back page, dripping in a joke in a seascape. In your love shell, you weren't ready to meet the angels. When you fall, then it don't. When you care, then it won't. You weren't ready when heaven rained down. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay alive. When you fall, should've cared. When you see, stay alive.
Okay, here we go. 46 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Friday. So let's start talking right away. Let's start talking. Let's start moving and grooving. Yeah, this right here, this is Oceanic with When You Fall. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go. So a lot of good times on the things that are going on. Thanks, Oceanic, for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time when we get to do new music around here, no doubt about that. So let's start talking right away about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, there's going to be all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Some stuff to tell you right away, if you do not mind. Let me tell you about a little event that we have coming up. No doubt here. This is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to sound like. This is what it's going to be curated into, if you do not mind, of course. It's going to look something along these lines. We got an event coming up on July the 13th, taking place in Orlando, Florida. It is a Monday. We are renting out a movie theater. I'm doing a little event there that we're calling Reality Shifts, an observational symposium taking place, like I said, in Orlando at the Aloma Cinema Grill. We'll be hanging out there with Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. Nick Weatherly will be there talking about behavior-based safety, and I will be there talking about Signal. Would love for you to come and hang out with us. We'll be there in person doing all of our stuff, with the exception of one thing that we'll do is we'll have a little documentary play. That way we can hang out and do some stuff. No doubt there. So, taking place in Orlando, July the 13th, just a few weeks away. Would love for you to attend. To find out more information, two ways to do it. Go to safetyfm.io or scan the little QR code that's on the screen right there to find out more information. So there you go. Some things going on Would love to see you here in Orlando. Reason why we're doing it on a Monday, that way if you want to hang out over the weekend in Orlando, you have the availability on doing so. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and do this right now. Let's bring some John Small into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of Jay'sCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Vince. Jeanette Rankin said, "Men and women are like right and left hands. It doesn't make sense not to use both." Very true. Now I'll speak from my own perspective. My right hand and my left hand are different. I can't even snap my fingers on my left hand. I'm not sure why. If it mattered, I could probably train myself to do it, but it doesn't matter. Now I can use both hands for many things. I can hammer a nail with either my right or left hand. That actually comes in handy when you're trying to work on something far to the left or far to the right. But there are some things that one hand is better at. I feel like that's the same for my wife and I. She is so much better than me at many things, and I'm better at some things than she is. And we're also equally matched at some things. Either way, it makes more sense to work together in all things. That makes for a better team. Each of us with different skills, but together it makes us stronger.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Join us on all major social media platforms, and we are Radio Big.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Political and legal battles over election procedures continued after a federal court declined to halt a contested executive order.
The ruling leaves broader challenges unresolved, while implementation questions remain under review. Additional court proceedings are expected in the months ahead. Liam White reporting.
A fragile diplomatic opening in the Middle East is drawing attention after a new framework agreement between the United States and Iran.
Officials outlined plans for a 60-day negotiating period and renewed shipping access. The proposal now faces difficult talks over security issues, sanctions, and long-term regional stability. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Fresh strikes in southern Lebanon underscored continuing tensions, even as international leaders urged a broader regional ceasefire.
Israeli attacks targeted Hezbollah positions, while armed exchanges continued near the border. Diplomats are pressing for calmer conditions as negotiators pursue a more durable agreement. Gary Beck reporting.
World leaders gathering in France presented a united front on Ukraine while promising stronger pressure on Russia's economy as the war continues.
Wednesday's summit produced a joint pledge backing Ukraine's territory and sovereignty. Leaders also signaled tougher energy and financial sanctions aimed at increasing pressure on Moscow. Chris Anderson reporting.
Federal investigators announced criminal charges after disrupting an alleged plot targeting a large public event near the White House.
Authorities said suspects planned coordinated attacks involving drones and other weapons. Prosecutors are moving forward while investigators continue examining possible connections and motives. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Rising energy costs linked to recent Middle East fighting remained a major concern for leaders meeting at the annual summit.
Higher oil prices have added inflation pressure across several major economies. Policymakers are watching supply chains closely while weighing the risks to growth. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A dispute over intelligence leadership continued in Washington as lawmakers debated national security authorities and executive branch appointments.
Several senators criticized efforts to delay a confirmation hearing for a key nominee. The disagreement is adding uncertainty to broader intelligence and surveillance debates. Kyle Norris reporting.
Housing and borrowing costs remained in focus as economic officials signaled caution about the path of interest rates.
Recent data pointed to weaker home construction activity and ongoing inflation concerns. Financial markets are watching for clues about future policy decisions. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Pop quiz, hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Oh, yes, the answer is always air guitar, and don't forget that because that's always important. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around, back in 1862, slavery is outlawed in U.S. territories. In 1865, all slaves in Texas are freed. Let's see, in 1910, Father's Day is celebrated for the first time in Spokane, Washington. In 1934, the Federal Communication Commission, the FCC, is created. In 1952, I've Got a Secret debuted in CBS. And 1967, Muhammad Ali is convicted of reusing induction in the U.S. Army. Yep. What else? In 1967, Paul McCartney admits on TV that he took LSD, which I would imagine the world was shaking back then. In 1991, two of Mia Farrow's daughters are arrested for shoplifting lingerie. And in 2013, Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini died. Yep. A lot of stuff going on right there for sure. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Ann Wilson turned 76, best known for her being the lead singer of Heart. Kathleen Turner turned 72. Paula Abdul turned 64. Robin Tooney, she turns 54 today. So there you go. And let me see, what else? Macklemore, he turns 43 today. So there you go, some things going on inside of there. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. The first day of summer is Sunday, so just in case you were not aware of this. Also, the Andrew 250 NASCAR race airs Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time from San Diego. The race airs on Prime Video. And this is a street race, just in case you do not know that. Also, tonight's Mega Million jackpot is for $452 million. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is for $302 million. President Trump announced a memorandum of understanding with Iran that includes $300 billion redevelopment fund, while insisting the United States will not finance the fund, claiming the money will come from private investors and foreign partners. So there you go. Also, the New York Knicks has their victory parade yesterday. Some fans traveled from across the country to be there, including one from Los Angeles who said that he could now die in peace after finally seeing the Knicks win it all. Others lined up as early as 4 a.m. for the parade. Had no plans to call it a day. What? You got there to a parade at 4 o'clock in the morning? Okay, that's different. I mean, you do you. There's nothing wrong with that, no, for sure. Okay, what else do we got going on? Before I forget, let me tell you this one. Today is National Garfield the Cat Day. A fictional character, Garfield, is, the protagonist from the comic strip Garfield, which was created by Jim Davis. Today is set aside to celebrate him and the entertainment that he brings us in June the 19th. Of 1978. So there you go. Also, today is Juneteenth. Each year, this day is celebrated Juneteenth to commemorate the end of slavery in the U.S., and the celebration takes place each year on June 19th, recognizing the event took place in Texas in 1865. So there you go. If you need some weird facts for the day, here we go. People reportedly prefer blue toothbrush over red ones. There you go. And if you need some words of wisdom for the day, leave every place and every person a little better than you found them. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, as I will be going over there talking about the world of music and entertainment. That's on radiobig.fm. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he's talking about the world of safety consulting. Now, don't get confused. If you're already on Radio Big, you don't have to go anywhere. Remember, we're simulcasting on Safety FM and Radio Big at the same time, so it becomes confusing to some. So I get that. If you need some words of advice for today, here's this. Wake up early. Wake up early is close to a life cheat code as you'll find. It requires intense discipline, and it creates evidence of your power and control over the world that bleeds into every other idea of your life. Confidence is built, not born. Keep that in mind. Anyways, that's going to sum it up. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
I saw the way you turned me on, even as I saw through you. I saw